Hey everyone, Scott JUA from Crucible Custom Props, Nerfworxlab, and all the forums here. So today is a bench video because it's been raining all day. The weather's really crappy, but I need to do this video. So this is the new Nerfworxlab or Solos Hold Luke V2. So the story on this is we did one a couple years ago. At the time of doing it, most of the stuff was already done before I had gotten a chance to go see the original prop. But when I was in California for Celebration in, I think it was 2015 now, it's been quite a while, I was able to meet up with Brandon, and he let me check out the original prop. So I was able to kind of confirm a lot of things that I'd never seen up close before. And since then he's released a few pictures, and there's been one comiccon.com video with Mark Hamill being reunited with it, so we got a little bit better look at it after that. And one of the things that I always wanted to do, this is for me, this is the Holy Grail Saber. This is the one I wanted more than anything to be accurate. And doing that, getting those pictures that have been released, and more and more people getting in on the excitement of it means that we were able to look at it more closely. And I toiled over this so much to get the measurements. Whoops, someone's passing by my front door. Anyway, trying to get this dialed in to where it's about as accurate as I think I can have it, make it, or the measurements are as accurate as I can get without putting calipers to the original, or without any better pictures than what are already publicly out there. And I don't have any better pictures than anybody else does, really. Maybe a few larger resolution ones, and that's about it. But nothing in particular that nobody else has. So this saber's been done to death. Everybody's done one. Anakin Starkiller, Roman's got a new steel one now. We did this. Cal has done one. It's kind of the saber that's been done. Master Replicas did it many years ago. But as far as I know, everybody has gotten a little bit of something to fix on each iteration so far. And this one, while it's not 100% perfect, it's really, really, really close. I did all of the measurements and gave Aaron all the measurements that I feel pretty confident about based on the reference that I have. There's a couple things I did know as well. Like, I've known about this mystery chunk since first seeing it in person. That was kind of a revelation. But after seeing it in person, I found out that it was on another prop. And I sat on that information for quite a long time before somebody else finally spotted it. And it got posted, but it's kind of quiet, kind of forgotten information. But the mystery chunk is on another Star Wars prop, and there's a pretty good picture of it. But I've known what it looked like ever since seeing it. Now, our replica of the mystery chunk takes a little bit of interpretation into account. Whereas, in fact, I'm going to talk about the mystery chunk because it's a pretty important part. Let me just take it off here. Let me try and see if I can get that here to focus. Focus, please. There we go. So the mystery chunk looks like it has this little flange on the bottom. Now, Aaron machined that flange there on purpose so that the people who think that they see it can have it, and the people who don't think that they see it can file it down. I have filed it down. I don't remember seeing that in person. And if it is, and it's been years now since I saw it. If it is, it's a very slight tell. It's just like a small bit of it. I don't know why this is not focusing, but anyway, you can file that down, and you also need to hit the edges of everything because that part is kind of worn and not as sharp. The teeth aren't as sharp as the knurl here, but I can tell you that this is very close to the original mystery chunk. Very close. In fact, we got the measurements from someone who has this other Star Wars prop with one of these on there. So we got him to give us the actual measurements of it. So this is the mystery chunk, guys. So this is it. This is what it looks like. Pretty close. And it is a different color metal than what the rest of the Saber is made out of. I never got to put a magnet on it, so I don't know if it is ferrous or magnetic. So it might not be steel, but I'm pretty sure that it probably is steel. Anyway, so we also have the cone knob. Now, this is Aaron's cone knob right here. These are the two that I sent him as a reference because I had two. I have since found 3 more. They are all different. They're all generally the same, mostly the same, slightly different. For instance, you can see this one has a very coarse knurl. Let me see if I can get that focused. This has a coarse knurl. This one has a finer knurl. This one has more of a diamond shape. And these two have more of a square shape to the knurl. So there's going to be some difference in the real cone knobs, but this one was replicated from a real cone knob. All the dimensions match, the knurl matches. Aaron did an amazing job on this. Now, the lever. This is the mystery lever. Nobody knows what it came from or what it is. I did not give Aaron any measurements on this. I said just, Roy's is really close. It's good, but it can be improved. So let's look at the pictures again. And Aaron looked at all the photos and came up with this design. And I got to say, this is probably really close to what the original looks like. Now, I don't remember in my mind what it looked like very well now because it's been clouded with seeing replicas and stuff like that. So it's very hard to say, how close that is. But it's close. Then we have a sloth furnace card. This has not been identified. We found some close ones, but it's still not identified. So this is a sloth furnace one. This is a vintage clamp, of course, and I've got this clamp specifically for this V2 because I saw it on the Graphics that had the bar missing and it was rusted and everything, and it's like, okay, that's in fairly decent shape, but not great shape, so that'll be great. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, the ribs. The ribs have been a point in contention for me on all V2s so far. Our previous version had the ribs punched in at a different angle. Each one was a slightly different angle, and lots of people have done that in their replicas because of the photos that they see out there of the stunts, the resin casts, and things like that. And the problem with those photos are most of them have been masked out of the original background, which means there's been some human error in how those have been cut out. Now, it also doesn't make any sense from a machining standpoint that the tool had been changed to different angles for each cut. Makes no machining sense whatsoever. Different depths, yes. Different distances between the ribs, sure. Because this was done on a manual lathe back in the day. But different angles, heck no. So anyway, these are right. These ribs measured on this turned piece of aluminum here meet the exact dimensions that I gave Aaron. Whether those dimensions are exact to the original prop, there's going to be some error there. I mean, it's got to be within like 0.0000 inches. It's close, real close. Everything here up is going to be very, very close. Everything, I would say that this Saber is the one I'm happy with finally to keep and make into my V2. I'm very pleased with how this came out. It's been a long time coming, but here it is. Finally, I'm happy with a V2 from, to me, it didn't matter. Sorry, I got cut off. So it didn't matter to me who made it, as long as I had some kind of input to make this happen. I couldn't be more stoked that this came out so well and so to spec. We had a couple things that needed to be revised after the first prototypes were. Well, it was supposed to be a prototype anyway. Stuff got shipped, but it was the cone knob was a little bit too small. The emitter flange was too thin and too small, and the nipple was a bit wrong. So we fixed those. All that's done, and now it's sweet. It's good to go. And there's a misconception out there. I've heard a couple people talk about this, that I got to measure the original. Not the case at all. I got to see the original. I got to handle the original. I got to hear the story about how it was acquired. Very cool. Brandon's a really cool person. And I hope he keeps it forever and never sells it, unless he sells it to me for like, a couple $1,000, which is probably not going to happen. But I hope he keeps it forever and passes it down, and that it never gets sold off to some collector who's going to hide it away. But as far as replicas go, this is the one I'm happy with. This is the one I'm proud of. They're all good. Everything is good so far. From everybody who's made one of these has put a lot of effort into them. And they all have different things about them. But this is the one that I can say that I am proud to have, and this is the one I will keep. So I'm pretty darn stoked about it. Anyway, guys, I don't know what else I can say about it. It's pretty simple. It's a turned piece of aluminum. Now, the one thing is, this is not replicated to every exact thing the way the original was made. So the inside is made to be FX ready. Now, that was part of the thing. Aaron does FX sabers. Aaron owns an FX forum. So it makes sense. Lots of people want to buy this and put electronics in it. I don't think I will, unless I get a second one to do that. This one will be static, but the one thing that had to happen was everybody wanted a spinning emitter, and that's happened with an FX. So there's that. Makes no sense for the static people who are just going to put some gaffer tape on here and lock it in position, but the fact that it does spin adds a little bit more realism to it. Now the inside, of course, is hollowed out, and it comes with two pommels, one with sound, one without, two emitters, one with a big old hole in it so you can put a blade, 1-inch blade in it, and of course this one. But this is it, guys. This is the V2. This is the Nerfworxlab Solus Hold V2 that I did all the measurements for, gave them to Aaron, and I gotta say that now there are going to be some tolerances in machining. Things aren't going to come out exactly as you measure them, but these ribs come out exactly. Almost every dimension comes out exactly or within 10 thousandths of an inch. In some cases, 100 thousandths of an inch. In some cases, it's only different by if you twitch your finger on a caliper. It's just that hard to get that precise. It is just about how I want it. So there it is, guys. That's the whole story. That's the V2.